for every situation, and you work on the beach. You want it visitor friendly, because that is your tourism.
And that's the thing, if something goes bad, everybody knows.
Something that concerns me, they talk about is taking parking off the beach. Now,
I don't think that's possible.
Well, you don't have the parking places, but now you have children crossing Atlantic Avenue, which scares me. So,
crossing the beach.
You fix one problem to create another problem, and until they find a solution for that, where they park, where they don't have to cross a major highway. You know, if they had the parking on the Atlantic Avenue side, but it's a problem then of money. How do you do it? It's a very complex problem, and it's hard.
Well,
and our county leaders are doing everything in their power to do it right and do it safe. So I'm sure not second guessing anybody.
No, and nobody's second guessing anybody. But let's be real about this. You're one of the longest serving elected officials in Volusia County. Somebody like Frank Bruno's term limited. Some of these other county officials get term limited and they go for a different seat. There's been a lot of buyback programs, the Volusia Echo and the grant, Volusia Forever and the Echo. Do you think there needs to be more of a commitment to try to get some of these properties so that you can get more of that consolidated parking before it runs out?
Sometimes you have to stop and look at what's best for the majority of the people and for life, limb, and safety. And one thing is how do you safely put the people so they can enjoy your natural resources safe.
Well, let's go into another area too. When you're talking about safety and people being gathered, there are some in law enforcement, well, very few, one I can think of, where they're out there no matter what. You're kind of in the background. You let your people do your thing. I mean, when you need to be seen, you make sure you're seen. But why is that your style? But I mean, mugging for the camera. You're not. That's not you.
If they need me there, and it's something that the sheriff's department has to answer for, yes, I'll do that. I also have PIOs. We also train our people on the road because it's very important that in the middle of the night, if something comes up and the media needs their soundbite,
right,
we want them to be able to get it. It's important for the media to be able to get their news stories, and we try to work with the media on that. We try to allow the media to get as close to the scene as possible,
without
safely,
right,
without interfering, and safely. Sometimes it's just not safe, but we understand the media is important, and it's not that big an issue to be able to do that, right, to make sure that it doesn't affect us usually. If it affects us, we're going to back them up.
Well, we talked earlier at breakfast, you and I, that our internet newspaper, Headline Circle, has endorsed you for sheriff on two principal reasons. Number one, leadership. I think that's more paramount than even experience. And number two is the experience. Because to me, experience is a way to retool for others, but the leadership is just something that...
Henry, my whole career has been, almost my whole career has been in some kind of leadership. I started in 1971 with political. So I worked as that. I made sergeant when I was 23, 24 years old, at 30 months.
You did the steps to get up there.
I worked up, and back then a sergeant was responsible, like nighttime, for sometimes the whole county. Then lieutenant. I worked there, and I was the first district commander in Deltona.
Right.
We basically were building a police department, I guess is the best way to say it.
Is that when you ran?
I was entertainment leader on the SWAT team. So I'm used to that, the hot hazard, where I was responsible for those people going into hazardous situations. Last year, I was the president of the Florida Sheriff's Association, elected by my peers in the state of Florida to represent and lead the Florida Sheriff's Association. So my career has been in leadership, and I'm the only candidate here that has any of those, much less all of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a given. The opponents you have had have, been coming out of nowhere, but, they're well-intentioned, but I don't think there's a substitute for leadership and experience. Let me ask you this. When you've gone
I am the proven leader. I'm also proven during bad times, during very serious cases.
Let me make this point to you. Each step from the sergeant, from patrol deputy to sergeant to the next couple, didn't you pick up different things that you didn't realize in the previous position that you were glad you did?
Every bit of it is. You start at the bottom, you're working up, you're finding out how do I lead these men on the street. I was always very proud of the fact that they used to give me the people they thought were the problem people. And I had more people promoted and put special assignments than anybody else. I was always very proud of that. So yes, you learn each one as you get up there. You're the first line supervisor. Now you're starting to make the decisions. Now you're seeing why the decisions are made. Now I'm the ultimate decision maker. But you do it with staff. You get your input and listen. And we've been very successful that way. So yes, I've worked my way up, not only with education, but with the experience. And it's been successful. And I started saying men ago, I have directed the serious investigations with worldwide press behind it.
It's
I have
big
gone
ones.
through when the worst economy since the Great Depression, and had to make those hard decisions. For instance, having to cut back on school resource officers. Not something you want to do, a school crossing guard. My goal originally was to have more
And you get the
resource officers.
repercussions no matter what you do. You have to balance it.
But when it gets back to it, you have to start looking back. What is your core services? You know, your patrol, you have to do your course. You have to make it 77% of my budget is manpower. So it's not like you can cut programs. You have to take and go in and cut whole areas in order to make it work. And it's very tough, it's hard, it's gut-wrenching to have
How
to
much
do
of a
that.
sacrifice is it on your equipment, your cars, or heavier artillery vehicles?
Well, now, some of the things we've done there is start with my first year in, Dwight Lewis came to me and said, hey, can you look at stretching
That was
the
the
cars
county
out?
council.
And Dwight Lewis, the county council. I said, let's look at it, Dwight. We looked at it, right, and say, yes, we can do it. Cars today are better. Plus, the individual deputy is responsible for that car.
Right.
So he has to help take care of it.
But I
He
mean,
has
some
to
of
get
those
it in.
bigger ticket items.
Well, that's the big ticket items are your vehicles. Because there's a lot of them.
That's true. The
Every
volume.
deputy has one, and for good reason. It saves us on overtime. It allows us to get people on the streets. They're responsible for the car. They last a lot longer. Well, since then, we started stepping up longer and longer. Today's cars are better than they used to be. The program in the county is better about taking care of the money.
I would assume the training is more enhanced too.
Yes, it is. But so, and the bigger ticket items, a lot of what you see out there, government surplus we've gotten. For instance, when we ran into the tornadoes, you know, the
Right.
Christmas Day and Groundhog Day tornado, some of the things that came to light was, how do you feed your people? Well, we got a kitchen facility. Rotary clubs borrowed it for us. Bomb robots that we couldn't get. I went out to the other police departments in this county, NASCAR, to airport towing here in the land. They chipped in an $150,000 piece of equipment that had been knocked out of budget because of the price of it for years that we needed. It's used several times a month. Well, we were able to buy that for $42,000 of confiscated funds. So the public-private partnerships are helping in getting a lot of this done.
As we wrap this up, you've been here as sheriff for 12 years. You've had a long, distinguished career. There hasn't been any major scrapes. You know, you have. How many people do you have that report to you?
We have approximately 900 people.
I mean, that's pretty good.
It's a big agency.
So, with that said, you took over Oak Hill a year ago. There hasn't been any problems compared to what they were dealing with, for
We're
years.
very proud of our partnership with Oak Hill.
I don't know if Deltona was before you became sheriff. It was transitioning in.
Deltona was here, but they took a vote on it since I've been sheriff and voted overwhelmingly.
Barry.
To keep it. We won it about 55-45.
You also have DeBerry, don't you?
Barry and Pearson.
Pearson came in later on there.
And we're very proud of all of our partnerships.
With that said, as more of the pension issues come in and city budgets are stretched, is it a reality, you think, before long that you have a countywide police force
I don't think you'll ever
run by a sheriff?
I don't think any time in
Why
our
not?
lifetime. Could it
Is it
happen?
too much
Yes,
territorial?
I think more, if that is a local issue, it has to be decided by the citizens of that area. Do I think there's a
Well, you
possibility
got
of some other
Deltona.
cities?
Deltona's the biggest one of them all, and you're handling that okay.
Yep, but do other cities, may other cities come in?
Daytona probably
But
exists.
as the budget dollars shrink, that's a possibility. And if they want us to contact us, we'll give them a price and see what comes.
As we wrap this up with Sheriff Ben Johnson, who's running for his 4th term, Sheriff, what are you most looking forward to as we go into the last 45 days or so of this election?
Well,
I assume it being over.
naturally, any time you're in an election, you just be glad when it's over. The time goes fairly fast, but there's no saying how to make the summer go by quick and get a 90-day note, how to make 4 years go by quick, become an elected official. But, I'm very proud of what the Volusia County Sheriff's Department has done under my tenure.
Any regrets? Any second guessing of major?
You can always second guess. If you don't look back and see what I might have done wrong or how we could have done something better in the past, change that. It should always be fluid. Nothing should be written in stone. You should always look at it and see how can we do it better. What we did back here wasn't right, or how can we fix it? or how can we make it better? So it should be a living, breathing creature, basically, that you're working on, fixing, updating, bringing around all the time. It's like your policies and procedures manual, how you look at it and say, where do we need to bring it from here to make it better? So you always look at it and say, yes, we can do it better. And that's one of the things, when you start thinking it's all done, it's all there, now you've gotten stale and stagnant. We are not stale and stagnant.
And you never know. You always have to be prepared, I guess, for the thing you can't be prepared for.
You don't know.
You
don't know what may happen this afternoon, and we've had plenty of that. From
plane crashes,
hurricanes, tornadoes, plane crashes, murders. You just don't know what it may bring, and we put a lot of effort into the kids, internet crime. We also put in for CART teams, which is in case a child is abducted. We brought training in for that, for the other agencies around here, and help revitalize the CART team in case something happens. You always try to stay up on the edge and try to, as much as possible, be ready for whatever may happen. That you're trained, you have the equipment, you have the preparation, and the manpower ready to take care of it.
We're going to end with this. You're an elected official. You're one of the highest vote getters traditionally in the last decade or so. You're a part politician. How much of you is the cop? It seems like a lot of it.
At heart, I am a cop. You know, you have to, in my position, you have to take and
but
look
that's
at
what
it
experience
and decide,
and leadership comes in.
Yes, and vision. And that's a big important part, is the vision, to see what do we need to do, how do we need to do it, how are we ready to do it. But at heart, I'm a cop. I love being a cop. I love when I can, and I miss out. You know, as the time since I became sheriff to today, the administrative duties have changed so much. It used to be that I was able to get out on the road a lot more than I can today, and I miss that.
Sheriff, it goes without saying, we want to wrap this up, but there is one more thing I need to ask you about that you touched on the other day in a public event. The pills, the meth lab, the
pills were start to see some light at the end of the tunnel on the pills, you know, with the new legislation, with people we have working in. As a matter of fact, I have an individual assigned to the DEA Pills Task Force that actually goes in. You know, that's his job in working pills. Plus our Volusia Bureau of Investigation, a major narcotics unit, which is under my tenure, was put together.
And you're actively recruiting people all the time for that, right?
Yes, but the problem is you get away from the pills, we're starting to see the meth pick back up again, and the other drugs, and there's something that you can't ever stop. There's always going to be something there, and we're going to go after whatever it is.
Well, for Sheriff Ben Johnson, he's got a million stories and a million examples. We wish you good luck moving forward, and we'll be seeing how the votes go on November 6th for a lot of people in these races, some new, some veterans. For Sheriff Ben Johnson, this is Henry Frederick.
And Henry, I want to thank you very much for your endorsement. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. You know, this county, as you know, means so much to me. I love the county. Still, I'm excited about Volusia County, the Volusia County Sheriff's Office, and whenever I lose that excitement, I promise you I'll quit.
Well, I can tell you, someone who's been a cop reporter as long as I have, and dealing with the breaking news and all the legal stuff, it is kind of an affectionate way of saying, hey, look, we're recognizing Volusia County's top law enforcement.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate it.